It's time to look back at Malaki Branham rookie season.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This is Zach Aguilar, the voice of Tanjiro Kamado, and you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs, right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back. Hope everybody's having a great week. We're going to help you get through today's work day right here on Locked On Spurs. Hey, thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts, on YouTube, as well as part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. This episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. A championship team is about each player being a perfect fit. Same with your vehicle. So for the parts that fit, head to eBay Motors and look for the green check. Stay in the game with eBay Guaranteed Fit, ebaymotors.com. That's right, eBay Guaranteed Fit. Only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. What are we talking about today? We're going to be looking at Malaki Branham. We're going to go back at his rookie season. Likes, dislikes, and then give him a grade. Yeah, we're going to recap/review his first season in the NBA. And if time permitting, we're going to go and look at some Spurs news and notes. Hopefully, we'll send some positive mojo to the Spurs way. Yeah, it's about Wemby, who is joining me today. He's back, everybody. We got our schedules lined up. Joe Garcia, Two Shots Podcast. Joe, I know you're busy, man. You know, you're working hard for your family and everything. But at the same time, man, are you creating the Bat Cave secretly? Are you really Batman? I think you're Batman. No, I've seen pictures. You sent me pictures of your new man cave. Is that what that is?
No, it's my studio / office, because I work from home. So I, got to make myself comfortable. And I've been investing in my brand, buying more equipment, upgrades and lighting. I mean, I'm getting a new monitor as well. I'm getting an ultra wide monitor. So I'll send you pics of that when it arrives sometime this week.
How much do those lights cost you, man? They look pricey.
Oh yeah, they're pretty pricey, dude. They're like $300 a pop.
Hey, what do you have the bucks for, man? Hey, share some of the wealth.
Working. That's why I work.
Hey, pick up the tab, man. Yeah, and you definitely follow Joe on Twitter at Two Shots Podcast. Let him know that you want a piece of the Bat Cave. He will talk about what he has in store lined up and how he can help you if you're looking to get into multimedia and much more later on in this show. Joe, as mentioned, you are a busy man. You have to go to work. We catch you right before you are going to clock in. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way so you can get to work and make those bucks. So when we go out, you can buy the first round, second round, third round. All right, Joe?
Depends on what you're drinking.
Oh, I tend to go top shelf. I'm not gonna lie. I tend to go top shelf. So can I get at least two first rounds from you?
I don't know. I heard Jimenez is Mr. Moneybags over there. He's over there on business trips with his business partner. He's out there on Florida on a boat. I'm like,
oh, he's coming on Locked On Spurs this week. I'm gonna grill him for that.
Yeah, I think he needs to be buying us rounds first, man.
I agree. I'm gonna pass on the message when he comes on Locked On Spurs later this week. All right, Joe. Let's go ahead and look back at last season and put in focus Malaki Branham. Look at give him a grade in the second segment. Well, in this segment right now, we're going to look at just what did he do. So before we get into some numbers, just some eye test general observations, he had a kind of a slow start. I think he spent like maybe a minute or two with the G League, nothing too crazy. But as the season went on, he got better, didn't he? What did you like out of the kid?
One of the things that I liked about Malaki Branham is, his playmaking ability. The decisions that he makes with the actual ball in his hands. He plays more like a veteran than he did an actual rookie. His shooting ability alone, helps kind of open up space for, Keldon Johnson and Vassell to kind of work. And then you add that he has a great ability to score off the dribble. To me, just the progress that he's made, he's just showing, a lot of growth, and, he's showing that he's a high quality secondary scorer for the Spurs, in that backcourt. So everything that you've seen out of this young man this season, is really a testament to how well he's done in the Spurs system, So I look forward to seeing what he's going to bring into year 2.
Yeah, again, a very slow start. Sure, chalk that up to maybe just first steps in the NBA. We'll give him that much. But we saw the same pattern that we saw in the NBA season, that we saw in the summer league. Again, a slow start for him. Came on late in the summer league. It's almost carbon copy. Started off a little bit slow with the Spurs when the regular season started, then definitely came on strong. I like that he started to garner the attention of just his teammates, Pop, the veterans, quote unquote, on the roster, saying that he plays very even keel. He plays with confidence. Before he got traded, Josh Richardson spoke with me about Malachi and said that one thing that he noticed with Branham was that he needs to just be confident game in and game out. And you saw that really take off towards the end of the season. Joe, I mean, he scored in double figures in just like about like the nine or 10 of the last games that he played for the season. And the only stinker he had was April 6th versus the Blazers, where he had 2 points. But other than that, double figure scoring. He's getting it done from the field, from the 3 line. I like where the trajectory is going. Are we gonna expect big things out of Malachi next season, or still more of the just continue to develop kind of mode mentality?
I think one of the things you're probably going to see out of Malachi next season it's just his overall ability to be more comfortable within the Spurs system.
Mhm.
You've seen what he was kind of capable of as the season came to an end here. I think he's just going to be a little bit more consistent of a player because again he was kind of learning the ropes and kind of getting acclimated into the Spurs system in his first year. Played some time over, I
Mhm.
believe, in the G League as well, and you know one of the things that you want to see is just him being a little bit more consistent of a
Mhm.
player, and I think we're going to go ahead and see that. But overall, I mean, you can't question his durability. I mean, the kid played 66 games for the team
Mhm.
out of an 82 game season.
Right.
You look at other, let's say,
And in today's NBA, that's a miracle. I mean,
it is
when
because
players play that much.
it is because you saw was it Wesley that got injured right away? Right
Yeah.
away? Was it like during
Yeah.
the second game? And we didn't really see much of him. But, that's a testament to how well, he takes care of his body and, you know, him being durable is really one of the things that you can really, take a look at with this kid. And when you see what he's done, and he's played 66 games, he averaged 23.5 minutes. So Coach Pop was going to the kid when he was available.
Mhm.
Uh, he shoots at a decent clip as far as the field goal percentage at 44%. Free throw shooting as well, it's not too bad, 82.9%. Rebounding, he's at 2.7 assist, 1.9. He doesn't have a lot of blocks, so uh,
Mhm.
that's something that you can't fault the kid for. That's not really what he's known for. Particularly a guard, but averaging 10.2 points a game, not bad at all. There's definitely a lot more room to grow. I think in his second year, we'll probably see him, you know, raise that his points per game to maybe 13, 14 points per game,
Right.
if he's given a little bit more
Mhm.
minutes and he's playing a full 82 game season. But you want to see him work kind of on his 3-point shooting. He only shot 30.2%. It could go up a little bit more, but it's not bad. So there's aspects of his game that he can work on. But overall, I mean, the kid's durable. He goes in there, does his job, and not only has he done a great job, coming off that bench and being available to play, but I believe Coach Pop has also taken notice of the kid as well. And he had some kind words to say to the media about Malachi Branham during the regular season when he was talking with the media.
Mhm. Yeah, you saw the confidence rise in him, and then you saw it reflect in the numbers. If you look at how he started his rookie campaign, he played 1 game in October, so we'll forget about that one. But in November, he started getting more games under his belt, 8 games, about 15 minutes per game, 5 points. But you jump to February, played in 11 games, averaged about 17 points per game, and then in the final month of April, 5 games played. Again, a small sample size, nevertheless, 15 points per game in about 27 minutes. So he was getting the minutes, the numbers were producing. And it's not just that, too. he saw a spike in almost a lot of categories towards the end of the season. 4.5 rebounds in March per game. He had 2.7 assists in February. So again, a little bit of everything, and that's what I like about him. He could do a little bit of everything on that court. Even his turnovers were minimal. I think his worst, quote unquote, turnover month was just in February and in March when he averaged about 1.5 to be exact. That's it. So a very high assist to turnover ratio, a very good one, I should say. So it looks like he just needed time to get, the feel for the game under his belt. I think that today's NBA, he's perfect fit for the modern guard. He fits well in just the spacing for the Spurs that they need, the pace that they play for the Spurs. I think his trajectory is looking really good, but as always, there are room for improvement, and that's what we're going to get into when we get back. I'm going to ask Joe what he would like to see Malaki develop over the offseason and improve upon next season, and well as get a grade from Joe Garcia right here on Locked On Spurs. Hey, I want to talk to you about BetterHelp. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Look, navigating through life can be difficult, but that's where BetterHelp comes in. So if you benefit from therapy, definitely this will help you greatly. So if you're thinking about also starting therapy, BetterHelp, give it a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. And you can also switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/lockedonnba today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedonnba.
Autobots, roll out!
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Joe Garcia. Follow him on Twitter at Two Shots Podcast. He's making bucks, so maybe he might buy you a Spurs t-shirt. Maybe he might buy you a subscription to an online thing. Joe, I'm gonna request that you give me you send me an Amazon gift certificate. How's that? Because you got the bucks now. You're working.
I guess I could go ahead and do that. I don't know if I
You're on
could
the
do it. I could
spot.
send you an Amazon gift card, but it might have been used already.
Oh man, I don't want that.
I'll just repackage it and say surprise.
Yeah. You say you wanted a gift card. You didn't say it had to have contents or money in it. But Joe will talk to you more about Two Shots Podcast and what he has on the side and how may help you down the road. Joe, let's go ahead and look at Malaki Branham and continue to dissect his rookie season, and we'll give him a grade shortly. What would you like to see him get better in season 2?
Uh, Defensive rebounding. Defensive rebounding isn't his strongest suit. He needs to go ahead and work on that. But again, just little things that he can work on. 3-point shooting again. It's not the best, but I mean, there's also room for improvement. And it's not just a knock on him. I mean, the team as a whole, they have not been very good from beyond the arc.
Mhm.
So it's just not him. But I mean, if they all work on their 3-point shooting, they can only get better, right? So that's one of the things you want to see him work on. One of the other things too that you see him is, he's just not I guess like a lockdown defender, like you
Mhm.
want to describe him by any means, but he does a lot of other things great on the offensive end. Great decision making off the
Mhm.
ball, dribble, all that kind of stuff. He's just a really solid addition, and especially in that second unit. But he did turnovers and not, he's really good with his turnovers, not turning the ball over.
Mhm.
Um, but just little aspects of his game, things that you want to work on off, defensive rebounding, 3-point
Mhm.
shooting percentage, little things like that. I mean, his court vision is great already. But one of the things that I think would actually help him again as well is, right now I believe he's listed at 6'4", 180 pounds. I think if he kind of lost a little bit of that, shed a little bit of pounds, it might
Mhm.
help his game um, a little bit more, because if you can play a little lighter, you're going to be faster out there on the court. So, yeah, maybe that's something, him and the coaching staff can work on as well. But, other than that, I mean, I've just been very happy with the kid. I think he's exceeded expectations in year one.
I agree. For a late first round pick, it really exceeded expectations. A lot of NBA draft prognosticators were saying, "How do the Spurs get this guy?" Lands on their lap and they scoop him up, and well, it panned out. It really was a good surprise late in the season. There was even some rumblings that he could challenge, to one of the All NBA rookie teams. Unfortunately, no Spur made it, not even Sohan, but he really came on late. I believe he had a season high or a career high for him this season with what 20 plus points. He had like 27. I think it was against the Detroit Pistons in a loss. So there's a potential there. There's a lot of potential that can be tapped into next season. I think that changes with a guy like Wemby. Imagine the spacing for Malachi that'll create.
Go there,
And
Jeff.
it just we'll go there later on in the show when we close out news and notes.
Spurs
And you
fans
get
are
your
thirsty, man. Y'all are
and
thirsty.
you'll get your chance to go at Wemby and Spurs fans, but I think that'll help him. And also too, you look at him, and for me, what I want to see him get better at it, just be more aggressive attacking the rim. You look at his stats in his rookie season. I think he only went to the free throw line about once, I believe, like one time. And that's got to go up. I mean, he has the ability to attack and get to the foul line, pick up some easy points, add to that average to boost it next season. So for me, 3-point percentage, obviously you hit that around the nail, but I like to see free throw attempts go up. If he can get up, he can be attacking the rim, get to about 5-6 attempts a game. I mean, that'd be great. You have to earn it though. He's still kind of an unknown, but you have to gain that respect on the court. So, Joe, let's go to put you on the hot seat here. What's your overall grade for Malaki Branham?
And we're going this from what? From I guess from 1 out of 5, or you want me to go by from 1
By
to
letter
100?
grade. Go by letter grade.
Okay. All right. If I have to give him a letter grade, I mean, I'm going to give him a solid A, man. I think the kid's just exceeding
Wow.
expectations.
Wasn't expecting that. Why an A? Just that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the kid's just come in and he's performed admirably, especially with the injury riddled season that the Spurs have had. And let's face it, one of the worst seasons in franchise history. Being able to come in and still be able to be a very, very productive and play at a healthy clip. 60, was it 62 games, I believe? No, 66 games that he's
66
played.
games, yeah.
I mean, come on, man. The kid's durable. He's just gone out there and done his job admirably. Done a really good job at that. So I mean, it's solid A. I mean, how can you not give the kid a solid A?
Interesting. You're durable, Joe. You know that? You're very durable.
No, I
You're a
guess,
durable
every
guy.
time you ask me to come on, I try to accommodate unless I'm at work.
Yeah, well, that's why I got you before you get into work. That's why we gotta let you go as soon as possible because you gotta go make them bucks. But for me, Joe, I'm not gonna go that high. I think I'm gonna give it a solid B.
Oh man, you can be
Um,
the Russian judge, dude.
I'm not gonna be the rest. I think there's just I think we hit it on the head. I think there's just room for improvement. I don't want to give this kid an A and think that he's set. I hear what you're getting. I get it. I get it. You're impressed with him. The way he closed out the season was phenomenal. But there's still room for improvement. The free throw percentage, I'm sorry, the free throw attempts, excuse me. Getting to that line, I like to see him get aggressive in that department. The 3-point shot, you mentioned it as well. Like to see the steals come up defensively. I like to see that number come up at least 1.5 per game next season. Uh, but overall, I mean, there's a lot of positives. His turnovers for 66 game, he only averaged 1.2 turnovers a game. That's great.
And don't
Uh, you
forget his
know,
personal fouls. He's only averaging 1.7 a game as
Yeah,
well.
plays a clean game. Love that. I like to see the assists go up. So for me, it's not that I'm bagging on him. It's just there's room for improvement, and I think he will meet those goals next season. Hopefully, he does. So there you have it. Joe gives him an A. I give him a B. What do you think? Let Joe know on Twitter at Two Shots Podcast. Let me know on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. And we'll love to hear your thoughts about what we think about Malachi's rookie season and hear what you have to say about Malachi's rookie season. Hey, when we get back, we're going to look at some Spurs news and notes. Kind of, sort of. Joe's going to probably go off on me and Spurs fans a little bit right now about Wemby, but we'll cannot wait to hear what Joe has to say about that. Hey, once again, thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. You guys are the everydayers, and be looking forward to tomorrow's show. Likely will probably be another season recap / player recap. Who knows? Just always subscribe to Locked On Spurs on the Kens 5 Plus app or on YouTube. But now my favorite part of the show where I get to talk about Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. Hey, San Antonio, did you stay up late? Are you still recovering from Fiesta Week? You need a pick me up? Look no further than Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. Mudslingers is locally owned, independent coffee shop, and they're proud to make delicious coffee for our San Antonio community. They do it fast and friendly so you get on with your day. So whether you're in the mood for a latte, cold brew, or a Red Bull infused lightning bolt, Joe, you need that. I think you need the Red Bull infused lightning bolt. I've had it several times already. It's delicious.
Oh,
Can you handle that much power in one drink?
Yeah, I could. Especially if it's good. If it's good, I'll drink it.
I recommend put the strawberry flavoring.
Oh, I don't know
That'll
about put strawberry flavoring. I might drop a little bit of, some vodka or whiskey in there, but yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't think Mudslingers does that, Joe. They don't do that.
Little
But
Irish
you can
coffee in the
get that
morning.
drink started going at Mudslingers by buying a Red Bull infused lightning bolt. Hey, don't get me in trouble with Mudslingers, Joe.
Why, man? Hey, maybe if they add that to the menu, they could call it the Jeff Garcia special.
I think we may have the conversation with Mudslingers then now. But hey, look, they have drinks for every taste. They don't have alcohol, everybody. I'm gonna make that very clear. They don't, but they have over 300 5-star reviews. That cannot be wrong. They also have a wide selection of dairy alternatives, low calorie options, even caffeine free drinks for when you want to just take it easy. Knowing Joe, he probably won't take it easy. He'll get that Red Bull infused lightning bolt and text me and say, hey, you add a little bit of X, Y, and Z to it. It makes it have a better taste. Joe, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't go down that road, Joe.
Takes the edge off in the morning.
Okay, well, at least start it off with a Red Bull infused lightning bolt or whatever you have at Mudslingers, and then we'll talk then. But swing by Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee for a tasty and convenient caffeine fix. Again, they don't sell alcohol there. I'm making that very clear. But they're also located at 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive near 281 and 1604. They're open every day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can find them on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and on TikTok at Mudslingers TX. That's MUDSLINGERSTX. Life is too short for bland coffee. We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Joe Garcia, who wants to get drunk already after talking about drinks.
Why not?
The
Fiesta just
break.
finished, Jeff. We still got the Fiesta hangover going.
I guess. But make sure to follow Joe on Twitter at 2 Shots Podcast. Joe, let's get us some Spurs news and notes, kind of, sort of. Although it's not directly related to the Spurs, but it could be related to the Spurs. A recent report came out that whichever NBA team gets the right to select Wembanyama in this upcoming draft, that he alone can add $500 million in franchise value. And Joe, you want to rain on the parade, don't you?
I'm just gonna give you the numbers. That's all I'm gonna do.
Okay, give us numbers then. Give us numbers.
All right. Well, the Spurs' chances of landing the number one pick, even though they lost the toss, it's still 14%. Same chance that Houston and Detroit have. Now, when you start getting into the second pick, for example, they're dead even. San Antonio, Houston, Detroit, 13.4%. Okay, let's go to number 3. They all have the same percentage chance, 12.7%. Number 4, they all have the same percentage chance, 12%. When you start getting to number 5, things start getting a little interesting there. Spurs have 14.8%, a 14.8% chance of landing that number 5 pick. Houston, 27.8%. Detroit, 47.9% chance of landing that 5th pick. Now, when it comes to pick number 6, Detroit's out of the equation entirely. You have San Antonio and Houston battling for that 6th pick. San Antonio edges Houston with a 26% chance of landing that 6th pick compared to Houston, who has a 20% chance. At number 7, the Spurs have a 7% chance of landing that number 7 pick. So it's the worst they can do in this upcoming draft is slide all the way down to that number 7 pick. Their chances of landing that 5th or 6th pick, especially that 6th pick at 26%, it's kind of high. All I'm saying is that these are the numbers that are presented to us, actual numbers. So if the Spurs go anywhere beyond, 6, if they go up to 5, 6, 5, like my good friend Benjamin Bornstein was saying, that might be something that they might want to look at and possibly trading away. And as Ben had stated, maybe with a team such as the Orlando Magic. And
Mhm.
just hear me out, because if the Spurs go ahead and trade that pick away, if they feel like that's not a franchise changing player, that's really going to help change the team's trajectory. They can go ahead and draft further down in the first round or into the second round and maybe pick up some players that can help fill the need of the team versus picking best available player. But again, if the Spurs get anything above, in my opinion, 6, it's a win.
Mhm.
But anything beyond 1, 2, or 3, it's a bust. For Spurs fans and
So
and
wait,
for me in
wait.
particular, it would be a letdown.
So 1 through 3, you're fine. You're
1
okay.
through
You're
3, I'm
ecstatic.
fine. Yeah.
Okay. What about 4 down?
4 is the territory where it's kind of like you can still do some things there, but honestly, I mean, the expectation that Spurs fans have, given the way that the season is gone, they're going to want a 1, definitely 2 or 3.
Mhm.
4, I think that's where they'll be like, it's still okay, but it's not great. 5, 6, you start dropping down a little bit further. That's when you got to start thinking about trading the pick away. And like I said, instead of drafting best available, you go ahead and make a trade maybe with the team and go for best available player. That way you can add some solid pieces around what you already have here in San Antonio.
Mhm. Joe, I'm a big nerd. You know that, right? I'm going to
Yeah.
quote the great Captain Solo, never tell me the odds. And I think that's exactly what Spurs fans are thinking right now. Joe, don't tell us the odds. Get the mojo
Well,
positive
let's put it
flow,
like this.
Joe.
Spurs fans are thirsty because when you have murals of Victor Wembanyama being put up
Yeah, that was
at
a little
one
bit too
Rudy
much.
Seafood over here on the south
Yeah.
side of town, I mean, come on, man. I mean, they haven't even gone through the NBA
Well, I
draft
told you not to.
lottery
I
yet.
told you not to paint that mural at
No,
Rudy's.
I didn't do it, man. I know the guy who did. He does great work, but I'm like, it's too soon, man. It's like you don't want to do that, man. Somebody has to go ahead and you got to break out the prayer candles on the NBA draft lottery. You got to go to a curandera, say some prayers, something, man. Prenda la vela, go light the candles. If you're a praying man at church and just pray that the Spurs get 1, 2, or 3. Definitely everybody wants the Spurs to get that number 1 pick. Hopefully they beat the odds and they go ahead and they get that number 1 pick. But I'm just being realistic, given the numbers and the scenarios that could play out.
Oh, gotta be raining on the parade, don't you? Gotta be raining on the
Just
parade.
telling you the facts, man. I know Spurs fans have their eyes set on number 1, but the possibility of getting 5 or 6 are quite high.
Well, they do have one of the better chances of getting the number 1 pick, 14%. That's still there.
Yeah, still on the table, but 26% chance of getting that 6 pick, that's out there too.
Joe, you're killing me, Joe. It's a good part to let you go now.
This
We
is
don't
where
need
you
those.
need to go. This is where I need my Mudslingers coffee with a little shot of something
Hey,
extra.
hey, hey. No, I think that's afterward. I think you get Musslingers in that concoction if they don't win the draft lottery. Then everybody's like, drink up, everybody. But hey, we're done talking. We want to hear from you. What do you think about Malaki Branham's rookie season? What grade would you give him? You can let Joe know on Twitter at 2 Shots Podcast. And Joe is cooking at 2 Shots. And anything else you want to talk about as far as like side things you would like fans to know about what you provide?
Yeah, right now I'm just working on the studio here, putting some much needed upgrades in here to give a really good product coming up next in the beginning of next season. So in the off season, it's always I'm always in build mode. But yeah, I'm working on a new show as well. Got some things that I'm doing under the radar here that I'm not able to talk about yet, but we will be talking about that once some deals are made behind the scenes, and I'll be excited to reveal that, guys. Reveal all that to you guys when the time is right.
There you go. Follow Joe on Twitter at 2 Shots Podcast. Hey, thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. As always, you guys are the everydayers. And don't forget to tune into tomorrow's show. By the way, Joe, would you want to give away something right now before we close out the show to make fans happy?
What do I going to give away? I give away
No,
my
no, no.
love for San
I'm going to give
Antonio
away
Spurs
something.
basketball.
No. I'm going to give away something. So,
What are you going to give away?
well, our good friend at Bear County Social Apparel recently announced that I won a contest. Wasn't rigged, everybody. It just happened. It just wait. It just happened to be that I won a raffle, and it was a T-shirt. And I said, look, I was very grateful for winning it. I was thankful for it, but I told Bear County that, hey, you know what? I'll go ahead and just donate my winning T-shirt to one fan. So that's what we're going to do right now. So here's how you can win it. You want to tag me on Twitter, and you better be following me on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. And you want to type in what Star Wars character that I referenced in today's episode, and then put a GIF or a picture of that Star Wars character that I mentioned on this episode with Joe Garcia. The first one to do that, well, they win the T-shirt. So once again, follow me on Twitter. You want to tag me and say, hey, Jeff, you mentioned this Star Wars character on today's Locked On episode with Joe Garcia, and then put a picture or a GIF of said Star Wars character. You're the first one to do that. You win a T-shirt from Bear County Social Apparel. Follow them on Twitter at Bear Apparel. That's BEXARAPPAREL. Make sure you do that right now. But on that note, for Joe Garcia, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.